The morning sun rose over New Haven, like it had for the past 20 years. The gentle Cathari people moved through their farms with quiet joy. Their long, thin fingers touched the plants they grew with such care. These alien beings looked like tall deer walking on two legs. They had soft brown fur and large, kind eyes that never showed anger. Dr. Ben Hughes walked between the rows of strange blue corn. He had lived with the Cathari for 3 years now. The Earth scientist loved learning about their amazing plants. The Cathari could grow food that would feed a city in just one small field. They never fought wars. They had no weapons. They believed all life was sacred. "Good morning, Dr. Hughes," said Elder Vextai. The old Cathari leader moved slowly between the plants. His fur was now white with age, but his eyes still sparkled with wisdom. "Good morning, Elder," Ben replied. He spoke in the Cathari language now. It sounded like wind moving through leaves. "The harvest looks beautiful this year." Elder Vextai nodded. "The Earth people have been good friends to us. We are happy to share our knowledge with your species. Your people and ours, we both love to grow things." Ben smiled. It was true. For 20 years, Earth and the Cathari had traded peacefully. The Cathari shared their farming secrets. In return, Earth gave them music, art, and stories. No one had ever been hurt in all those years. Far above the planet, Captain Jake Morrison sat in his ship's command chair. The USS Defender was small compared to Earth's big warships. It only had 30 crew members. Jake's job was to patrol this quiet part of space. Nothing exciting ever happened here. He liked it that way. "Sir," said Lieutenant Amy Collins from her communication station, "I'm getting a strange signal from the edge of the system." Jake looked at the main screen. "What kind of signal?" "It's not from any ship I know," Amy said. Her fingers moved quickly over her controls. "The pattern is all wrong. It's not human, and it's not Cathari either." Jake felt something cold in his stomach. "How many ships?" Amy's face went pale. "I count 12, sir. They're big ones. Much bigger than us." On the planet below, Ben Hughes was teaching some young Cathari about Earth vegetables when his communication device started beeping. The sound was urgent and loud. Ben had never heard it make that noise before. "This is Dr. Hughes," he said into the device. "Ben, thank God," came Captain Morrison's voice. "You need to get the Cathari to safety right now. We have unknown ships entering the system." Ben's heart started beating fast. "What kind of ships?" "We don't know. They're not answering our calls. They're heading straight for New Haven." Ben looked around at the peaceful Cathari working in their fields. They had never seen war. They didn't even understand what it meant. "Elder Vextai," he called out. "We need to talk." The old Cathari came over. His large eyes showed worry when he saw Ben's face. "What is wrong, my friend?" "There are ships coming," Ben said. "Ships we don't know. They might not be friendly." Elder Vextai's ears dropped. "Not friendly? But we have done nothing wrong. We hurt no one. We only grow food and share knowledge." "I know," Ben said, "but not all people in the galaxy are like you. Some people hurt others for no good reason." The elder was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "We will send them a message of peace. We will offer them food and friendship. Surely they will not hurt us if we show them kindness." Ben wanted to say that kindness didn't always work, but he had lived with the Cathari for 3 years. He knew they could not think like warriors. It was not in their nature. In space, the 12 unknown ships came closer. Captain Morrison tried to contact them again and again. He sent messages in every language he knew. The ships said nothing back. "Sir," Amy said, "I'm reading their weapon systems. They're powering up." Jake's hands gripped his chair. "Red alert." All crew to battle stations. The USS Defender was not a warship. It had light shields and 2 small laser cannons. Jake knew. They could not fight 12 big ships, but he had to try. There were millions of Cathari on New Haven who could not defend themselves. Down on the planet, Elder Vextai stood in the main settlement. All the Cathari gathered around him. They sent out a message toward the approaching ships. "Welcome, travelers," the elder said. "We are the Cathari of New Haven. We offer you food, rest, and friendship. We have knowledge of growing things that we will share with you. Please come in peace." The response came quickly. It was not words, but weapons fire. The first energy beam hit the center of the settlement. The beautiful crystal buildings that had taken years to grow melted like ice in fire. Cathari people ran in all directions, crying out in fear and pain. "No!" Ben shouted. He ran toward the elder, but another beam came down from the sky. It hit the ground between them. The explosion threw Ben backward. Captain Morrison watched in horror as the unknown ships attacked the defenseless planet. "All power to weapons," he ordered. "We're going in." The USS Defender raced toward New Haven. Jake knew it was hopeless. His small ship could not stop 12 big warships. But he would not run away while innocents died. The enemy ships ignored the Defender at first. They were too busy attacking the planet. More energy beams rained down. Farms burned. People died. The Cathari had nowhere to hide. Elder Vextai lay on the ground, his white fur stained with blood. Ben crawled over to him. "Elder, we need to get you to safety." The old Cathari looked up at the burning sky. "Why?" he whispered. "Why do they? Hurt us? We offered them peace." Ben had no answer. He held the elder's hand as the attacks continued. Around them, the peaceful world of New Haven burned. The Cathari people, who had never hurt anyone, were being killed by strangers they had. Tried to welcome Dot finally. One of the enemy ships said the message. The voice was cold and harsh. "This world now belongs to the Malthri Empire. Any who resist will die. Those who surrender will serve us." The USS Defender fired its small weapons at the nearest enemy ship. The shots bounced off like raindrops. The big ship turned and fired back. Captain Morrison's ship exploded in a ball of fire. Ben Hughes held his communication device with shaking hands. He sent out a message to any Earth ship that could hear him. "This is Dr. Hughes on New Haven. We are under attack. The Cathari are being slaughtered. Please ... someone help us." The message traveled through space at the speed of light. It would take days to reach Earth. By then, it might be too late for New Haven. But the message would reach human ears. And when it did, everything would change. 3 days after the attack on New Haven, Dr. Ben Hughes' message reached Earth. The signal came through the Deep Space Communication Center in Australia. The night shift worker almost missed it because it was so weak. "This is Dr. Hughes on New Haven. We are under attack. The Cathari are being slaughtered. Please, someone help us." The worker played the message again. Then he called his supervisor. The supervisor called the military. Within an hour, the message was on the desk of General Lisa Carter, head of Earth's Strategic Defense Command. Lisa Carter had been a soldier for 30 years. She had seen war before, but never like this. She listened to the message 5 times. Each time, her face grew harder. "Get me Admiral Steve Parker," she told her assistant. "Wake him up if you have to. And call an emergency meeting of the Defense Council." 2 hours later, the most important military leaders on Earth sat around a table in the Pentagon. Admiral Parker, a tall man with gray hair, spoke first. "We've lost contact with the USS Defender," he said. "Captain Morrison was a good man. His ship had 30 crew members. We have to assume they're all dead. Commander Nick Bradley, the intelligence officer, stood up. He put a map on the big screen. We've been tracking these attackers for the past day. They call themselves the Malthari Empire. We've never heard of them before. What do we know about them? General Carter asked. Nick clicked to the next slide. They're bad news, General. Really bad. Our deep space sensors have been picking up their movements for the past month. They don't make contact with other species. They just attack. The room was quiet. Everyone was listening carefully. How many species have they attacked? Asked Admiral Parker. 17 that we know of, Nick replied. Maybe more. They follow the same pattern every time. They find a peaceful world. They attack without warning. They kill anyone who fights back. Then they take slaves. General Carter's hands formed fists. Slaves? Yes, ma'am. They use the survivors as workers. The Malthari don't grow their own food or build their own ships. They force other species to do it for them. Another officer spoke up. What about diplomacy? Have we tried to talk to them? Nick shook his head. We sent 3 different messages. They didn't answer any of them, but they did send us something. He played a recording. The voice was deep and rough. It spoke in broken English. You are the humans. You think you are strong. You are wrong. Give us the plant people you protect. Give us your worlds, or we will take them. You have 10 days. The room erupted in angry voices. Admiral Parker hit the table with his fist. Plant people? They mean the Cathari. They think we'll just hand them over? General Carter stood up. Quiet, everyone. The room went silent. Nick, tell me more about these Malthari. The intelligence officer pulled up more information. They're bigger than humans, about 7 feet tall. They have thick skin like armor. They're strong and tough. But they're not very smart about fighting. What do you mean? They use brute force for everything. They don't plan. They don't think. They just attack with everything they have. It works against peaceful species who can't fight back. Admiral Parker leaned forward. But it won't work against us. No, sir, it won't. The Malthari have been fighting weak enemies for so long, they've forgotten how to fight real soldiers. General. Carter walked to the window. Outside, she could see the lights of Washington, D.C. Millions of people were sleeping peacefully. They didn't know that aliens were threatening them. How many ships do they have? She asked. We count about 50 big warships, Nick said, but they're spread out across their empire. They probably only have 20 or 30 ships they can use to attack us. Admiral Parker smiled, but it was not a happy smile. They don't know what they're dealing with, do they? No, sir. Our intelligence suggests they think all species are like the ones they've conquered. Peaceful farmers and traders. General Carter turned back to the group. They're about to learn different. What's the status of our fleet? We have 42 warships ready for action, Admiral Parker said, plus another 30 in various stages of construction. We could have a full battle fleet ready in 2 weeks. Do it, General Carter ordered. I want every ship we have armed and ready. And I want President Williams briefed immediately. An hour later, President Kate Williams sat in the Oval Office. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but everyone knew she was tough when she needed to be. She listened to the whole story without saying a word. Madam President, General Carter said, we need to act quickly. These Malthari think they can bully us like they bullied the others. We need to show them they're wrong. President Williams was quiet for a long moment. How many Cathari are still alive? We don't know for sure, Commander Bradley said. Maybe. A few million. They had 8 million people before the attack. The president's face went pale. They killed 5 million innocent people? Yes, ma'am. Just because they could. President Williams stood up and walked to her desk. She pressed a button. "Get me the congressional leaders. I want to address the nation in 2 hours." That night, people all over Earth watched their president. On television, she looked directly into the camera and spoke in a clear, strong voice. "My fellow humans," she said, "today we learned that our friends, the Cathari people, have been attacked by a species that calls itself the Malthari Empire. Millions of innocent people have been killed. The survivors have been enslaved." The president paused. When she spoke again, her voice was harder. "The Malthari have demanded that we surrender ourselves and our friends to them. They have given us 10 days to comply. I have one message for the Malthari Empire." She leaned forward. "No, the president continued, "we will not abandon our friends. We will not surrender to bullies. We will not allow innocent people to suffer while we have the power to help them. As of tonight, Earth is at war with the Malthari Empire." All over the planet, people watched their president. Some were scared, but most were angry. The same anger that General Carter felt. The same anger that Admiral Parker felt. "The Malthari think we are weak because we are peaceful," the president said. "They think we are helpless because we choose to be kind. They are about to learn that there is a difference between being peaceful and being weak." In space, the Malthari ships continued their attack on New Haven. War leader Krothvar, the commander of the Malthari fleet, laughed when he heard about Earth's message. "Humans think they can fight us," he told his officers. "We have crushed 17 species. We will crush these humans too." But deep in space, Earth's ships were already moving. Admiral Parker's fleet was heading toward New Haven. They would arrive in 6 days. The Malthari had made a mistake. They thought all species were like the gentle Cathari. They were about to learn that humans were very different. The hunt was about to begin. The day after President Williams declared war, everything changed on Earth. People woke up to a world that was different from the one they had gone to sleep in. The peaceful planet that had known only trade and exploration was now preparing for. Battled out at the Luna shipyards above Earth's moon, Admiral Paul Jackson stood on the observation deck. Below him, thousands of workers moved like ants around the massive ships being built. The sound of metal on metal rang through the air day and night. "How many ships can we finish this week?" he asked his chief engineer. 12, sir," the engineer replied. "But if we keep working around the clock, we might get 15. Jackson nodded. "Do it. I want every ship we can build. The Malthari are going to learn what happens when you attack our friends." Across the solar system, the same scene played out. Mars had 3 major shipyards. Each one was working at full speed. The asteroid belt mining stations were sending metal as fast as their ships could carry it. Even the research stations were being converted to build weapons. On Earth, Colonel Ryan Foster walked through the Marine Training Center. Young men and women were learning to fight. They practiced with rifles, learned to use battle armor, and studied the art of war. "Sir," said Sergeant Miller, one of his instructors, "we have more volunteers than we can train. People are lining up to join the military." Foster was not surprised. When the people of Earth heard about New Haven, they were angry. They wanted to fight. The Cathari had been friends to humanity for 20 years. They had shared their knowledge freely. They had never hurt anyone. "Double the training shifts," Foster ordered. "I want every volunteer ready to fight in 2 weeks." Back at the Pentagon, General Carter worked without sleeping. Her office was full of maps, reports, and communication equipment. She was planning the war. "The Malthari have made a big mistake," she told her staff. "They think they can scare us. They think we'll surrender like the others." Commander Bradley brought in the latest intelligence reports. "We've been studying their attack patterns. They're not very smart about it. They just attack with everything they have. What about their ships? Carter asked. Big and tough, but slow. They rely on heavy armor and big guns. They don't use tactics. Carter smiled. Perfect. Our ships are faster and smarter. We can outrun them and outfight them. She turned to Admiral Parker. How long before our fleet is ready? 3 more days, he said. But I want to wait for the new ships from Luna. Give me 1 more week, and we'll have the strongest fleet Earth has ever built. Carter shook her head. We can't wait. Every day we delay, more Cathari die. We go with what we have. That night, Dr. Ben Hughes sent another message from New Haven. He was hiding in the ruins of what had been a beautiful city. Around him, the Cathari survivors worked as slaves for their Malthari masters. This is Dr. Hughes, he whispered into his communication device. I'm still alive. So are about 2 million Cathari. But the Malthari are working them to death. They're being forced to grow food for the invaders. He looked around to make sure no one was listening. The Malthari leader is called War Leader Krathver. He's cruel and enjoys causing pain. He told the Cathari that humans abandoned them. He says no help is coming. Ben's voice became stronger. But I know better. I know humans don't abandon their friends. I know you're coming. Please hurry. When the message reached Earth, President Williams played it for her cabinet. The room was silent when it ended. 2 million, she said quietly. 2 million innocent people waiting for us to save them. Secretary of Defense Johnson spoke up. Madam President, our military says they need more time to prepare. President Williams stood up. How much more time? Another week, maybe 2. How many more Cathari will die in 2 weeks? Johnson was quiet. He didn't know the answer. I'll tell you, the president said. Too many. We go now. The next morning, Earth's battle fleet began to move. 42 warships left Earth's orbit. They were the most advanced ships humanity had ever built. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Admiral Parker commanded the fleet from his flagship, the USS Thunder. As they left Earth behind, he spoke to his crew. We're going to face an enemy that has never lost a battle, he said. They've conquered 17 different species. They think they're unstoppable. He paused and looked at his officers. They're wrong. We're going to show them what happens when you attack innocent people. We're going to show them what humans do when our friends are threatened. The fleet moved through space at maximum speed. They would reach New Haven in 4 days. On New Haven, War Leader Krathvar received reports that human ships were coming. He laughed when he heard the news. 42 ships? He said to his officers, we have 30 ships here. We have conquered worlds with less. His second-in-command, Sub-Leader Drakstar, was not so confident. War Leader, we know nothing about human weapons. Maybe we should call for reinforcements. Krathvar hit the table with his fist. We need no reinforcements. These humans are weak like all the others. They will run when they see our power. But deep in space, the human fleet was preparing. In the war rooms of each ship, officers studied everything they knew about Malthari tactics. They planned their attack carefully. Captain Sam Rodriguez commanded the USS Vengeance. He had been a naval officer for 15 years. He had never fought aliens before, but he knew how to fight. Their ships are bigger than ours, he told his crew. But bigger doesn't always mean better. We're faster, we're smarter, and we're angry. Lieutenant Commander Maya Thompson, his tactical officer, brought up the battle plans. We'll hit them from 3 directions at once. They won't know which way to turn. Commander Alex Turner led the stealth ships. His job was to get close to the enemy without being seen. Human technology was much better than Malthari technology. The aliens wouldn't know the stealth ships were there until it was too late. Remember, Turner told his pilots, we rescue the Cathari first, then we deal with the Malthari. No one goes home until every slave is free. As the human fleet got closer to New Haven, the crews prepared for battle. They cleaned their weapons. They checked their armor. They said prayers and wrote letters to their families. They all knew they might die. But they also knew they were fighting for something important. They were fighting for people who couldn't fight for themselves. On New Haven, the Cathari slaves looked up at the stars. They had heard rumors that help was coming. Elder Vextai, who had survived the first attack, spoke to his people. Do not lose hope, he said. Our human friends will come. They promised to protect us, and humans keep their promises. War leader Krathver prepared his ships for battle. He still believed he would win easily. He had always won before, but he had never fought humans before. He had never faced a species that got stronger when their friends were threatened. He had never seen what happened when peaceful people decided to go to war. The Malthari were about to learn that there was a big difference between attacking helpless farmers and fighting Earth's military. They were about to discover that humans had been preparing for war for centuries. Even during times of peace, thought the battle for New Haven was about to begin. The human fleet reached the edge of the New Haven system just as the sun was setting on the planet below. Admiral Parker stood on the bridge of the USS Thunder and watched the enemy ships through his sensors. 30 Malthari warships floated in orbit around the burned world. They're not even trying to hide, said Captain Grace Miller, his second in command. They think we're going to run away. Parker smiled coldly. They're about to learn different. Commander Turner, are your stealth ships in position? Yes, sir, came Turner's voice over the radio. We're invisible to their sensors. Just give us the word. Not yet, Parker said. First, we try to contact them. I want to give them one chance to surrender. The Admiral opened a channel to the Malthari fleet. This is Admiral Parker of the Earth Defense Force. You are ordered to release all prisoners and leave this system. Immediately, the response came quickly. War leader Krathvor appeared on the main screen. He was huge, with thick gray skin and small red eyes. His mouth was full of sharp teeth. You are the humans, he said. You are smaller than I expected, and fewer. We have 30 ships. You have 42. But our ships are bigger and stronger. Numbers don't always win battles, Parker replied. Release the Cathari, and we'll let you leave alive. Krathver laughed. It was an ugly sound. You think you can threaten us? We have crushed 17 species. We will crush you too. Your little ships will burn like paper. So be it, Parker said. He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. All ships, this is Admiral Parker. The enemy has refused to surrender. Begin the attack. The human fleet split into 3 groups. One group went left, one went right, and one stayed in the center. The Malthari ships tried to turn to face all 3 directions at once, but they were too slow. Captain Rodriguez led the first attack in the USS Vengeance. His ship was smaller than the Malthari vessels, but it was much faster. He darted between their big guns like a fighter plane, avoiding cannon fire. Target their engines first, he told his weapons officer. Can't fight if they can't move. The Vengeance's lasers hit the rear of a Malthari ship. The alien vessel shuddered and began to drift. Its engines were dead. 1 down, Rodriguez said. 29 to go. The Malthari tried to fight back, but their tactics were simple and predictable. They just pointed their big guns at the human ships and fired. The humans were too fast. They dodged and weaved, hitting the aliens from unexpected angles. Commander Turner's stealth ships struck from behind. The Malthari never saw them coming. 3 alien ships exploded before they knew they were under attack. What is happening? War leader Krathvar screamed at his officers. Where are these attacks coming from? We don't know, war leader. His second-in-command replied, "Our sensors show empty space, but our ships are being destroyed." On the surface of New Haven, the Cathari prisoners watched the battle through the windows of their slave camps. Elder Vextai pointed at the lights in the sky. "See," he told his people. "I told you the humans would come. They keep their promises." Dr. Ben Hughes, still hiding in the ruins, watched the battle through his telescope. He saw the human ships dancing around the slow Malthury vessels. He saw the alien ships exploding one by one. "Yes," he whispered. "That's what you get for attacking innocent people." The battle had been going on for 2 hours when something changed. The Malthury ships began to group together. They formed a circle with their weapons pointing outward. "They're learning, Captain," Miller observed. "They're trying to protect each other." Admiral Parker nodded. "Smart, but not smart enough. Turner, take your stealth ships and get inside their circle. Hit them from the center." "Copy that, Admiral." The invisible human ships slipped between the Malthury vessels. Once they were inside the circle, they fired at all the alien ships at once. The Malthury couldn't fire back without hitting their own ships. War leader Kraftver watched half his fleet get destroyed in 10 minutes. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. These humans fought like nothing he had ever seen before. "Send a message to the home world," he ordered. "Tell them we need reinforcements." "What should we tell them, War Leader?" "Tell them the humans are not weak. Tell them we were wrong." But it was too late for reinforcements. The human fleet was too strong and too fast. One by one, the Malthury ships were destroyed or disabled. In 4 hours, the battle was over. Only 3 Malthury ships survived. They tried to run, but the human ships were faster. Captain Rodriguez caught up with them at the edge of the system. "This is Captain Rodriguez," he said over the radio. "Surrender now or be destroyed." The Malthury ships stopped running. They knew they were beaten. "We surrender," came the reply. "Please don't kill us. Drop your shields and prepare to be boarded," Rodriguez ordered. "And if you try anything, we'll blow you into space dust." The human Marines who boarded the Malthury ships were shocked by what they found. The aliens were not the mighty warriors they pretended to be. They were bullies who had only ever fought helpless victims. "They're cowards," reported Major Chris Evans, the Marine commander. "They're begging for mercy. These are the same aliens who killed 5 million Cathari without blinking." Admiral Parker felt no pity for them. "Lock them up. We'll deal with them later." The real work began after the battle. The human fleet landed on New Haven to rescue the Cathari survivors. What they found broke their hearts. The beautiful world was in ruins. The crystal cities had been melted. The farms had been burned. The Cathari people, once happy and peaceful, were thin and scared. Dr. Hughes met the rescue teams at the landing site. He looked older than his years. "Thank God you came," he said to Admiral Parker. "I wasn't sure we would last much longer." "How many survivors?" Parker asked. "About 2 million. The Malthury worked them like animals. Many died from exhaustion and starvation." Captain Miller walked through the slave camps. She saw Cathari children who had never known anything but fear. She saw adults who had lost hope. She saw Elder Vextai, who was now just skin and bones. "Elder," she said gently, "you're safe now. The Malthury are gone." The old Cathari looked up at her with his large, sad eyes. "You came for us. Even though we cannot fight, even though we are weak, you came for us." "You're not weak," Miller replied. "You're just kind, and kind people deserve to be protected." As the rescue continued, the human fleet received new orders from Earth. They were to hunt down every Malthury ship in known space. They were to free all the slaves and destroy the Malthury Empire completely. No more innocent people will suffer Admiral Parker told his captains. "We're going to make sure of that." The Malthari had made their biggest mistake when they attacked. The Cathari. They thought they were conquering another weak species. Instead, they had awakened humanity's protective instincts. War leader Krothvar, now a prisoner on a human ship, finally understood what he had done. He had not just attacked the Cathari. He had attacked humanity's friends. And humans never forgot their friends. "What will you do with us?" he asked his guard. The human soldier looked at him with disgust. "That's not up to me. But if it was, I'd throw you out the airlock." The hunt was just beginning. Earth's fleet would track down every Malthari ship. They would free every slave. They would make sure that no one ever attacked innocent people again. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you made humanity angry. 6 months after the battle at New Haven, Fleet Admiral Dan Cooper stood on the bridge of the USS Thunder. Around him, the largest fleet in human history moved through space like a pack of hunting wolves. 200 warships flew in perfect formation toward the Malthari home world. The hunt had been swift and deadly. Every Malthari ship found in space had been destroyed or captured. Every slave world had been liberated. The Malthari Empire, which had seemed so powerful, was crumbling. Like a house of cards. "Admiral," said Captain Grace Miller, "we're receiving a transmission from the Malthari home world. They want to talk." Cooper smiled grimly. "Now they want to talk. Put them through." The face that appeared on the screen was not war leader Krothvar. This was High Commander Vexthul, the leader of all Malthari forces. He looked scared. "Admiral Cooper," the alien said, "we wish to discuss terms of surrender." "There are no terms," Cooper replied. "You will release every slave in your empire. You will return to your homeworld and never leave it again. You will give us everything we need to help the people you hurt." "But Admiral," Vexthul protested, "we are a proud warrior race. We cannot simply surrender everything." Cooper's face went cold. "You are not warriors. Warriors fight other warriors. You are bullies who attack innocent people. There is a difference." The transmission ended. The Malthari had their answer. On the surface of the Malthari home world, panic spread through the cities. Their mighty empire was gone. Their fleets were destroyed. All they had left were the 30 ships defending their planet. "We should have listened to Krothvar," said Sub-Leader Drakstar. "He tried to warn us about the humans." High Commander Vexthul paced back and forth in his command center. "How could we have known? They seemed so peaceful. They trade with everyone. They build things instead of destroying them. But when someone hurt their friends, they became something else," Drakstar said. "They became death itself." Above the planet, Admiral Cooper prepared for the final battle. His ships formed a sphere around the Malthari home world. There was no escape. "All ships," he announced. "This is Admiral Cooper. We have come to the end of our hunt. The Malthari Empire ends today." Captain Sam Rodriguez, now commanding a group of 12 ships, moved into position. "Sir, the enemy fleet is moving to intercept." "You let them come," Cooper said. "We've been waiting for this moment." The 30 Malthari ships rose from their planet like angry wasps. They were the last of their kind. Everything they had built, everything they had conquered, was already gone. This was their final stand. Lieutenant Commander Maya Thompson watched the enemy ships on her sensors. "They're grouping together again. Same tactics as always." Captain Rodriguez shook his head. They never learn. All these months of fighting. U.S. And they still don't understand. The battle began at dawn on the Malthari home world. The alien ships fired everything they had at the human fleet. Their weapons lit up space like fireworks. But the humans were ready. "All ships execute Plan Thunder," Admiral Cooper ordered. the human fleet moved like a single living thing. Half the ships went high, half went low, and the rest stayed in the yaw. Middle, the Mallory couldn't cover all directions at once. Captain Grace Miller led the first attack. Her ship, the USS Lightning, danced around the Mallory guns like it was in a ballet. Her weapons fired with perfect accuracy. "Target their command ship," she told her crew. "Cut off the head, and the body dies." The USS Lightning's lasers hit the biggest Mallory ship. Its shields flickered and failed. The ship began to drift. High Commander Vextel felt his ship shake around him. "Return fire," he screamed. "Destroy them all." But it was too late. The human ships were everywhere. They moved too fast and hit too hard. The Mallory weapons, designed to destroy helpless victims, could not touch the swift human vessels. Commander Alex Turner's stealth ships appeared in the middle of the Mallory formation. They had been invisible the whole time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "Surprise," Turner said over the radio as his ships opened fire. 6 Mallory ships exploded at once. The rest scattered in panic. "They're running," reported Captain Rodriguez. "Should we pursue?" "No," Admiral Cooper said. "Let them land on their planet. We have a message to deliver." The surviving Mallory ships crashed down on their home world. Their crews ran for the cities, spreading panic and fear. The mighty empire that had conquered 17 species was beaten by 1. Admiral Cooper opened a channel to the entire planet. His voice echoed through every Mallory city. "People of the Mallory Empire," he said, "your war fleets are destroyed. Your empire is ended. But we are not here to destroy your world." On the planet below, millions of Mallory listened in fear and confusion. "We are here to make sure you never hurt innocent people again," Cooper continued. "Your warriors thought strength meant attacking the weak. They were wrong. Real strength means protecting those who cannot protect themselves." The Admiral paused. When he spoke again, his voice was gentler. "We do not want to be your enemies, but we will never let you hurt others again. Stay on your world. Learn to build instead of destroy. Learn to help instead of hurt. Do this, and you can live in peace." High Commander Vextel sat in his ruined command center. Around him, his officers wept. Their empire was gone. Their dreams of conquest were ashes. "What do we do now?" asked Sub-Leader Drakstar. Vextel looked up at the human ships in orbit. "We do what they say. We learn to live without hurting others. But we are warriors. It is our nature to fight." "Then we learn a new nature," Vextel said quietly. "Because the alternative is death." The liberation of the slave worlds took 3 months. Human ships traveled to every planet the Mallory had conquered. They found 17 different species, all living as slaves. The bird-like Cathari had been enslaved for 50 years. The rock-eating Tholans had been slaves for 30. Some species had been captive, so long they had forgotten what freedom meant. Major Chris Evans led the ground teams that freed the slaves. On each world, he told the liberated people the same thing. "You are free now. The Mallory will never hurt you again. Humanity promises this." Many of the freed species could not believe it. They had been slaves for so long that hope was just a memory. "Why do you help us?" asked Cassara, leader of the freed Veltar people. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing," Evans replied. "We help you because it is right. Because no one should be a slave. Because everyone deserves to be free." The Veltar had tears in their large blue eyes. "In all our history, no one has ever helped us without wanting something back. Then your history is about to change." Evans said. Back on New Haven, the Cathari were slowly rebuilding their world. Human engineers worked alongside them, helping to restore the crystal cities. Human farmers shared new growing techniques. Human doctors treated the sick and wounded. Dr. Ben Hughes, who had survived the attack and the months of slavery, now worked as a liaison between humans and Cathari. He translated not just languages, but understanding. The humans saved us, Elder Vextai told his people. But more than that, they showed us that there is still good in the galaxy. There are still people who help others. The old Cathari had grown stronger during the recovery. His white fur was clean again. His eyes had regained their sparkle. We must remember this, he continued. We must remember that when darkness comes, there are those who will stand against it. The humans stood for us when we could not stand for ourselves. President Kate Williams visited New Haven 6 months after the liberation. She walked through the rebuilt cities and the restored farms. Everywhere she went, Cathari people thanked her. You gave us back our lives, Elder Vextai told her. How can we ever repay you? President Williams smiled. You don't need to repay us. You just need to keep being who you are. Keep growing things. Keep being kind. Keep showing the galaxy that there is beauty and peace. The president looked up at the sky where Earth's ships still patrolled. And if anyone ever threatens you again, just call us. We'll come running. As the months passed, word spread throughout the galaxy. The story of humanity's war against the Malthuri became legend. Other species heard how humans had fought to protect their friends. They heard how Earth's ships had hunted down every Malthuri vessel. They heard how the mighty empire had fallen in just 6 months. Some species were impressed. Others were afraid. But all of them understood the message. Do not attack the innocent. Do not hurt those who cannot fight back. Because somewhere in the galaxy, humans are watching. Admiral Cooper returned to Earth as a hero. In his final report, he wrote simple words that would be remembered forever. The Malthuri Empire has been destroyed. All slaves have been freed. All innocent people have been protected. The mission is complete. War leader Crothver, still a prisoner, was brought before a human court. He expected to be executed. Instead, he was sentenced to spend the rest of his life helping to rebuild the worlds his people had destroyed. You will work without pay, the judge told him. You will help feed the people you tried to starve. You will build homes for those whose homes you destroyed. Maybe, in time, you will learn what it means to help instead of hurt. Crothver bowed his head. It was a better fate than he deserved. Years later, when the galaxy was at peace again, Elder Vextai would tell the story. To young Cathari, he would tell them about the dark time when evil aliens attacked their world. He would